Hello and welcome to this video. This is sort of the homework or the aftercare for level 2 of my energy systems series. If you are new here and you haven't seen it, I will have links in the description definitely, so you can dive deeper into this. You don't have to have the knowledge base to do the practice that I'm offering here, but it's very helpful to have the backstory and to have some foundation to sort of build this working on. But feel free to try it out here if you're already here, and then you can do it again with the deeper value to the story after the fact. No harm can be done by doing this if you haven't seen my other videos. So yeah, but if you have, and if you're following along with my series, then this is sort of like the takeaway that I really want everybody to get from this level 2 working about the energy bubble, this conscious sacred boundary that gets set around things that make it whatever it is, that make you you and me me. That's the level that we're working at, I guess. That's what we're working to get in touch with here. And I'm going to offer 3 different assignments, I guess, 3 different workings or practices to help people break away and do these practices on their own. Now, don't feel like you have to take notes or you have to follow everything step by step. You can most certainly take what you like and leave what you don't. You can tweak it or tailor fit it to your liking. But I wanted to do this quick offer of just what the practice is for people who are interested. I did do an in-depth guided version of this, like a guided meditation. It's almost an hour long, and I know not everybody is into that kind of thing, and not everybody has the capacity, whether it's a time capacity or a physical capacity, to really sit and focus for that long. So I wanted to give a quick video at the end of level 2 to hopefully sort of give people a offering of a way to do it on their own, I guess. So with that said, here for this first practice, I am going to just focus on the toroidal energy. And quickly, in case anybody is brand new and you have just heard about Tauruses out there, and maybe this has sparked your curiosity, or maybe you've seen pictures of many different things with this sort of flow around it, like the earth and its magnetic pole, or perhaps you've seen the pictures with fruit that glow, this beautiful glow around them. Maybe you've seen auras or heard about aura pictures, and that kind of has sparked your intention to get here. In hopes to bring the most value to this practice for everybody at a foundational level, the crucial thing to understand is that the toroidal works in 2 different ways. They both look very, very much alike, which is this outward appearance of a blurred, circle-y structure, or almost maybe like a heart even, it could look like, or a Venn diagram, sometimes it's portrayed more as, these sort of 2 circles meeting. It's important that we all know that that's the neutrality, that's the tool. But there's 2 different ways to use the tool. There's a positive way and a negative way. not good or bad, so let's not get wrapped up into that, and especially if you haven't seen my series, because I talked a lot about that in level 1, about getting away from this good and bad sort of stigmas of things, of morality and ethics. Here we're really trying to talk at more of like a micro level, a quantum level. Let's not worry about human morality right now. That comes as a byproduct of this work. So we don't have to even worry about that at this moment. Just know that, yes, there's 2 different flows possible within the torus, and not many people talk about this, and when it's presented to us, and mostly in a metaphysical sense or even in a regular physics ideas, more the scientific realm, it's kind of not even talked about, that there's 2 different polarities happening and that there's 2 different functions. Sometimes when we get into talking about nuclear fission, they do sort of reference the poles and stuff, but I feel it's really been looked over and glazed over on purpose, especially for spiritual growth. The understanding of the duality here, of the negative or the positive possibilities of using this energy tool. And so if that interests you, definitely go into the series if you haven't looked at it yet, because I talk more in depthly about that. But here in the practice, the hope for this sort of energy alchemy work is that we learn to step back outside of ourselves a little bit and to witness and to see if we can catch which way the flow is going. I felt that it's important, and I see that the value and the perspective of this type of practice is best to start with first, for many reasons, but personally I feel it's something a little bit more tangible for people to get into the realm of non-judgment, sort of easier, because it's a little bit more external to what the inner workings are going on inside of you, and why, and what your light and shadow is really doing. That's like inner core work that is done, that is definitely needs to be done, and but sometimes, especially if we're dealing with a lot of shadow or a lot of inner work that needs to be done, it can be helpful to focus this on the toroidal energy first. And I think a lot of us, where we are in the world, it's going to be more of a medial ground to work with the torus first, and then bring it to the inner core after. So I say that to hopefully allow some detachments before you even come up to this practice, and to understand that at the forefront of this practice is observation, is assessment, is a sort of just like taking in data points. It's just cataloging and taking stock of what you feel, and allowing yourself to open your imagination space up enough, and to open your senses up enough to really get a feel for things, which that in itself is a difficult working, and it's crucial to have that availability of feeling and sensing and drawing in with your intuition and imagination and your logic and critical thinking to assess what you're seeing and feeling about things that are sometimes difficult to explain with words and are unseeable, are untangible. It's not a material thing, right? And our body is so much more than the physical vessel. And so this practice is getting a little out of that physical vessel's boss into more of the mind boss, and into the imagination space, and into the energetics and the electricity that's happening around you, and that is you. It's very much a part of you. It's radiating from you. And so it's very important that we know that, and then we pay attention to it so that we can feel where it's radiating from or where it's drawing into, because there's 2 different feelings and 2 different flows with this. There's a radiation and an outwards expression feeling, an actionary feeling to put forth your service, to offer out things you're good at, and offer out love and light and caring, offer out love to others. But there's also this other need, this other drawing in of getting, of receivership, of fueling and support, of nutrients drawing in even, of eating and breathing, that basics of bringing in, right? But there's a drawing in of energy. There's the feelings and the input analysis that you have of body language and of vibration and frequency all around you. That's a conversations that are happening. That's a bringing in. And that intention, feels different. It's an outwards looking for things, It's an assessment of value that's aligned to the self, to what you need, to what your personal consciousness needs to more of, or wants or desires more of, right? So there's two very different flavors that happen here, right? And sensing them and what the honest intentions are behind them and inside of them out there is what this Toroidal work is all about, is what that external working is all about. Don't get drawn into the whys or the hows, or, oh, I shouldn't feel that way because this, or, oh, why do I feel that, or, oh, that's an egoic thought, or, oh, my heart is broken, I'm hurt, oh, that's painful. Why is it? I need to get over it, or I don't, or, oh, that person, why they do it. Don't allow yourself to even get drawn into the internal things of this. That is a practice for another time. So don't get yourself overwhelmed or bogged down in that. So sometimes this Toroidal practice can really just be a detaching practice of getting away from the internal thoughts for a while. And that's why sensing the aura, sensing the feelings around you, I feel is super helpful and important at first. Especially when there's a lot of that going on. It's not to detach and say you're never going to look at it. It's not to detach and say it doesn't matter. It's not to detach and say it shouldn't be dealt with. It's a detaching of, I'm going to deal with you later. But for right now, my focus is here. Because, I need to have a clearer picture in order to deal with you. So that's where the intention is at when we come into this practice. And so yeah, I'm already 12 minutes in, and of course, the lawn guy's going to go by right at this moment. But I'm going to put a timestamp here for about right now, or as soon as I get done with this little gist here, so that if you want to return to this practice, if you need a refresh or re-guidance, a little bit of a crutch through the practice until you get a feel for it for yourself, you'll be able to come back and hop into this at this moment to do this little walkthrough with me. I'm going to do it quickly just so that people get a taste of what the steps are. Know that it really needs more time than I'm going to give it here, and it deserves more, and you deserve more. But even just starting little bits for right now, the consistency is what's important. Coming back to this practice later, another day, every other day, a couple times a week, once a week, whatever you can allot to yourself within your schedule and everything. But coming back to it is really, really important. So yeah, with that said, let's start here, and I am going to kind of close my eyes a bit and walk through this sort of as amped up or rushed a sort of version of the meditations. And I did do a slow walkthrough. I think I might have said that at the beginning of this video already, but I did do a real guided meditation where take plenty of time with it. If you're interested in doing that and you have about an hour, the meditation is about an hour long. That's already up on my YouTube and BitChute channels, and I will put a link in the comments on YouTube to my BitChute channel, because YouTube puts a bunch of commercials in it, and I don't know why. Stupidest thing in the world, and my channel's not monetized. I would never want money off of that, or to generate it, but it seems like I can't change the options. So it can be really distracting if you get commercials in the middle of zoned out calm meditation. So I would suggest BitChute. I can give a free file too if people are interested. Email me if you don't use BitChute or something else, or you get ads in BitChute for some reason. I have plain files that I'll share with people. I don't mind. But yeah, let's get into it since it's already 15 minutes here. First and foremost is to just calm yourself and to get comfortable in a seat. I do suggest sitting up for this practice, but if you're constrained by health problems or whatever is the case, you can lay down. I say sit up because it's helpful to feel the center channel. It's more helpful to visualize yourself outside of your body and see your torus around you when you're seated and you're more awake. When we lay down, there's a tendency to fall asleep for a lot of people. Not to say that, you wouldn't get any help. You might, and you might even dream it, and it could be more helpful for you to fall asleep. I won't say that it's not. But for me and my personal workings, I like to be attentive and with more conscious awareness, so I like to sit up when I do these sort of alchemic practices. And so sitting and drawing in a few conscious breaths, grounding into the moment, feeling your breath, allowing yourself to center. And as I'm getting centered, what I like to do is to visualize and build out this knowing that I have three bosses inside of me: mind, body, and spirit. And I like to kind of see each one of them and get acquainted with them, say hello, sit at this table of sovereignty together. And you can build out this visualization for yourself, whether you like to see it up in the mind's eye and imagination space, or you can bring it down into the heart center and greet each other down there, or any way. But this is a point of centering, honoring your own truth, honoring your connection and your worthiness to yourself, and the love that you have for yourself. And also that deep tie to here on earth, to the realm of physicality, and to the before and after of Source or God, whatever that is to you. So get in touch and aligned with that. Feel those beautiful frequencies. Allow them to really build up in your mind. Allow them to fill you up and feel them, and spend time feeling them, as long as it takes to get that centered knowing. When you have that centered knowing, for this torus work, I like to step out of my physical body for a moment and do that detaching like I talked about. So after I have settled and we've all sort of gathered together to do this work, I like to remember where I'm sitting in the room and use my imagination again to build up the room and see myself outside of myself, sitting on the floor. Remember the clothes I'm wearing, the way my hair is. Feel out the room around me in a really kind of 3D way. Remember where the walls and windows are and such, the ceiling. Get a feel for that. Allow that to really become a solid vision in my mind here behind my eyes. And yeah, make it up if you have to. Don't ever get bogged down by, I feel like I'm making this up. Because all things are, any invention, anything that's ever been thought or said, came from your thoughts first. You thought about it first, and then you did it. Even if you feel like, I did that without thinking, even if you feel like you did something automatically, your subconscious thought world was running that. So yes, it all comes there first. Sorry for the distractions of the lawn again, but yes. So make it up if you need to. Really use your imagination to cultivate this feeling of seeing yourself outside of yourself. Detach from the physical a bit. And detach from the emotions and everything, and see yourself as physicality. See the room around you, and then see the air, and remember that the air is like ether. The ether is like air. It's like a soup of electric vibrations of things that we can't even see or feel or sense, that are all around us, vibrating. And see that around you and feel it, and see yourself as a part of this sort of picture. And then Use your beautiful imagination to view like that bubble around you. Allow that torus, sort of the electric layer of reality, to start to infuse into this vision that you have of yourself and of the room. You know, call forth or peel back the layers of solid 3D material. See or work to see, or relax and allow a potential that maybe one day you will see. The vibrations, the energy. And let that build up for yourself. And if you get it right away, you do. Some do and some don't. Some work years to get it. I worked years to understand it and see what I'm feeling. Feel what I'm seeing. So don't put pressure about it, but just allow that working, allow that sensing, and you will get a feel for it. And when you can sort of have this feeling around you and see the torus or see an aura, see this sort of sacred boundary around you that makes you you, feel the boundary and build it, and then step into the boundary, step back into yourself, into your electrical self, into this deeper version of yourself. And that's when you can start to feel the torus. That's when you can start to allow and sense all around you. And as you're getting this feeling of whatever it is, and you're in the zone, you can witness and see what electric data points and sets are out there. What are you offering as your output? What's the feelings and the information, the emotions of it? What's the intentions of your outward actions? Those things that you're putting out that you'd like to share out with the world. And also sense what you're looking for to draw in, and why, and where the senses are, and what your truths are for you. And feel, and remember that the points that we talked about the differences in seeking, the positive flow versus the negative flow. And feel, can you feel a pulling in and a pushing out and through and around that's happening with you? Or do you feel a pushing up and out and drawing in through your roots and drawing in? And allow that and work with that. And also feel the 0 point in the middle. Do you feel an honest pushing through and a flowing through of clarity? Or do you feel like there's a bit of confusion in the center there, and perhaps it's got some dams inside the channels, sort of the flow? And if they're there, just feel them, sense them. Don't have to ask them whys or how come they're like that or anything. It's just the feelings and the senses of it that you need to be working on at that moment. Or not even working on, but sensing to feel and working to hear. And just accepting and allowing. That's all this practice is about. And so as you're feeling that, just allow it. And do that for as long as it takes. And then pull your consciousness back in. And that's all it is. Thank yourself for the practice. Thank yourself for taking the time to do that work. And to feel your external energy bubble around you. The more that you come back to the work, the more little bits you'll be given. And maybe those little bits will turn into a key at some point, and that key will be opening to a new door for you. And it works so many different ways and layers like that, so beautifully and individually. But yes, take the time to do that. So that's the whole practice. That's really it. I'm going to leave it there for now, and we'll get into the second, deeper practice of the inner core working. And then you can see how these work together, and you can do those practices in conjunction with each other, off and on. And they reverberate and have conversations between each other. And then, especially once you do the inner core work, you'll see huge ripple effects with the torus. You'll see changes in the torus. This is why I don't say ever do working to change a toroidal flow. We always witness a masculine. We don't try to force change on masculine. It never works that way. In all the different aspects that you ever want to look at. That's an actionary thing. That is observing and allowing. What we do later is the internal female working, and that's where we work to change. That's where we soothe and support, and then symptomatically the external changes afterwards. It does the changing for itself. We allow the male to do it, the actionary change part of it that needs to happen. But the female is the under the ground rootings, that have to be there first. So we'll get into that next, and know that, yeah, this is a bit of a multi-layered working. You can do it alone, and you can do it without any of the backstories, and you'll get a feel for it. But with the backstory and with inner core work, and then also with when we work to understand that flow happening, all three are going to really come together. And that's why I brought together this whole series, and you'll see it's part 1 of 3. In case you didn't see the other parts, because it is really a joint effort. Each one has beautiful workings that are valuable on its own, but when they come together, you're really going to see the symphony of work that will happen, and it will reverberate through your beautiful reality, through how you cast out your reality, and you'll start to see the benefits of all of them. So I hope you'll return to this practice, and I hope you'll return to the part 2 workings with the inner core, and yeah, I hope for feedback as well. So feel free to send me emails or put comments if you want others to read them as well. Put them on my videos. I'm sure other people would love to hear what's going on as well. So thank you so much for watching this video and for taking the time to do this practice on your own. I will catch you next time.